impressed with this camera, holy cow. Just want some low-key music here. All right. Let's get started. All right. Just gonna get started by throwing some lead belcher on these guys. I'm just gonna quick paint these. I don't really have a too great of a silver. I'm gonna start with lead belcher and then bring it up to a Stormhost silver. Lead belcher is this color, by the way. Can I make sure you see that? And then I'm gonna come up to a storm. Oh, that's Iron Breaker. We gotta find Stormhost silver. It's like a brighter. This guy right here. We're gonna use this as a second color. And we're dirtying this thing up too, so we're only going to use Stormhost silver on a little bit. We're probably going to use some black, what do you call them, glazes to highlight certain areas of the model by making some places darker and then using the silver to make some places brighter. It looks like his cape is a warm gray, so we'll get to his cape last. Should be pretty easy, but we got to make sure not to touch the zenithal highlight on the back of the cape so I can keep it looking real good. Just make sure I don't touch it with the silver. But for the most part, this model is just silver and with some black for the area behind the legs here and here. So I don't know, let's get started. I'm gonna throw some silver on there. Should be pretty, I'll try to paint it pretty quick. Let's see where that goes. The sound here. There we go. If the music's too loud, please let me know. Some silver on my palette. Water on my brush. Model's basically all silver, so it's really easy to just go nuts. careful around these, this cloak. Don't want to hit any silver on the cloak. His hands are silver too, right? Wow, jeez, the whole thing. Okay. Just keep going then. Even his weapon is silver, so I'm not even gonna worry about getting silver paint anywhere. Just keep painting. He's a silver knight after all. Try to get it on there as quick as possible. Area on the model is black, I typically ignore it, so it looks like I don't hit a spot. Don't worry about it.
You have a call from an inmate in a correctional facility. Inmate, state your name. This phone call may be monitored or recorded. Press 3 if you accept the charges. If not, hang up.
That lead belcher all over. Nice silver knight. This whole shield is the same color, so let's just keep slapping that lead belcher on. If you're new to the chat, please feel free to say hi. It's nice to talk to people while you're painting. Also, I just got a new camera, by the way. Hopefully this one's a lot better than my last one. Ran me about $250. It's a 4K, I don't know, some kind of, I forget the full name of it. It's the new LG camera. It's their top of the line webcam. I think quality's pretty good. Like, you can see me hitting these brush strokes and it's really nice. Trying to get these here. Over in there. This model's good and bad. In one sense, I like that it's so easy to paint. In another sense, it's really boring. It's okay, though. Gotta get it done if I'm gonna play that full board game painted, right? the inside of the shield with black. I don't know. Nah, we'll just go with the silver. What's wrong, Alice? I'm actually going to use my... Fully painted spear here. nice, dude. I'm watching LVO, but the mics are like shoddy. There it goes. You want me to put it up on my live stream? I could just stick it up there. Here, 1 second. I'll turn it up so you can hear it too.
Is that him talking? Every time. Yeah.
On track now. One second, I'm gonna be right back. I gotta go grab something. All right, I'm back. So I don't like my wife on stream because of comments like that, Scott. Scott, he says, I hear no sound. He says, bring her back. I muted it because when Grace walks in the door, she's so loud and she doesn't know that I am on YouTube streaming live, so I mute her because I don't want to. I don't need my private life. At least, not a large percentage of it on the internet. I know that just the nature of streaming, you end up with some of your private life out there, but as little as possible. It's quiet. I can turn it up. Here, how's that? Is that better? That's a little medium. Tell me if that's better. I don't know how loud it actually sounds. I'm just trying to finish these Sylvan Knights. Looking pretty good, actually. Just trying to make sure I caught up. I'm almost good. All right, 1 second. Test. How's that? I'm in the yellow now. Now it's saying it's might be a little too loud. I'm gonna leave it there. How about that? All right, here we got first Silver Knights silver is done. I'm moving on to the next one. Like I said, the current color is Lead Belcher. These are kind of boring. So I don't know. This part is kind of boring. It's just straight up silver because these are Silver Knights, as you can see in the reference. On a side note, I am currently watching a live stream of the Las Vegas Open for Age of Sigmar, and it looks like Slanesh versus Fire Slayers. And so, if any of you are watching that as well, feel free to chime in because I would love to talk about Age of Sigmar. I always want to talk about Age of Sigmar or painting, Age of Sigmar, and some Dark Souls, even Star Wars Legion. I love Star Wars Legion. Talk about that too. But I'm actually glad you came in here, Scott, and said that because for the longest time I'm like, how do I sound? Am I too quiet? Am I too loud? I was listening to music earlier, but I just shut it off. And I was listening to Las Vegas Open as well, but like it seems like their microphones over there are just bad. I don't know what they're doing, but they don't sound good. Need a second. I need to get my second monitor up here. I shouldn't be streaming with one monitor. But holy cow, this camera is amazing. It looks so much better than my previous camera. Like, you can actually see what I'm doing live. And it looks pretty good. And the Silver Knights are pretty easy to paint. You just start with a big cone of Lead Belcher, and then we're going to do a lot of highlights and create a lot of contrast with black glazes. Should be pretty easy, but they're going to come out looking pretty sweet, like the picture. What mic am I using? I'm just using a mic off of a Logitech 920p. It's literally just a webcam mic. It's just a very expensive, or at least it was a very expensive webcam at the time. Probably cost me around $200. The brand new webcam that I bought to stream the video here that I'm showing the model that I'm painting cost about $250, and I just recently bought this because I tried to stream some live painting earlier this week, and the quality just wasn't quite there. So now I've got two cameras. I've got one for the miniature and then one for my face, and the one for my face is the one that's worse. That's the one that we're using the mic to yeah, that's the mic I use on a regular basis. I'm really surprised at the quality of that mic. It blows my mind that like people have difficulty streaming and dealing with microphones. Yeah, I have a dedicated mic. I just haven't hooked it up. I have a dedicated directional mic. Yeah. It's just one more thing that has to sit and hover over my face or on my desk, and I don't want to deal with it right now because I've got a very small desk that I'm working on. I really need to just clean this office. Yeah, I know. I'm lazy. That's what's going on. I got excited because I bought this new webcam, and I was like, I want to paint something. What's on my paint list that I need to get done? I'm like, oh, the Silver Knights. Let's paint the Silver Knights. You can jump in Discord and just talk to me, dude. I don't know what you're up to. But I wouldn't talk about anything personal because the whole internet's going to hear it. I would also, let me see, am I in the Discord live channel? I'm in AFK chat right now. But, yeah, if you want to jump in and chat, I can do that. It looks like you're playing Tarkov. Is that good? Keep painting this guy. Get that little rim, but I don't want to hit the black. The part where his, I don't know, it's like they're like little leather stockings. Trying to get through these dudes as quickly as I can because I am so sick and tired of playing these minis when they are not painted. Ooh, bumped the camera. Pretty good. Not being very careful here. I'm just smacking this thing with paint. Grace, you can just shut my door if you want to be a little loud.
Okay. Hi, baby. Did you feed them?
No, not yet. Grace, Scott says hello.
Hi, Scott.
There you go.
I came in the door singing. You missed it. Sorry, buddy.
Yeah, because I muted it.
Oh, poor Scott.
Yeah, he's missing out on your lovely voice. It's because he can't hear you. He's in the chat, live streaming.
Oh.
He's playing a different game while watching this.
Okay.
But no, I don't play Tarkov. I have not touched it because, one, I just haven't gotten into it. Two, I haven't heard a lot about it. Is it really good? It looked like it reminded me a little bit of Star Citizen Battle Royale. If I were to take a stab at what I thought it would look like. It's okay. Yeah, that's kind of what I gathered. Just kind of looked okay to me. It didn't look like it was worth buying. Yes, dude, I love this game. We've been playing it left and right. It's just like every time I play, I feel guilty if we don't have painted miniatures, so I don't allow people to play with me on a mission that I haven't painted the miniatures for. And I want to play all these different missions. I just need to finish things up. Hey, Josh, how are you, man? Getting these Silver Knights done. Busting through all these Dark Souls minis. How you doing? How's your new job? Awesome. Are you playing Tarkov with Scott? Let's see. Yo. Very cool. Did I do this one all silver in his arms? Yeah, I did. Oh well, I'll hit it with black later. Really didn't want his arms to be silver. This area right here is supposed to be like a black leather. Oh well. It's all Josh's fault. Dark Flame, that is foul language, but I'm going to allow it. I'm going to show everyone in chat your dark side. Is that you, Nate? Quick paint. Yeah, I figured, man. Wow. Nate, you've been doing some mini painting? Or did you slow down after a little bit? After I think you guys got in a kill team for a while, right? Ugh. Yeah, Scott was telling me about Malifaux. Did you play any, oh, good lord, I can't even remember the name right now. I'll look behind me. Warhammer Underworlds. Did you play any of that? They're actually coming out with a digital version, which is kind of, in some ways it defeats the whole purpose of the game because, like, 30 some odd percent of it, well, not the whole purpose, but 35 some odd percent of it for me is the hobbying. Yeah, let's try and get as much silver in there as we can, but I'm not going to spend too much time painting a spot that people won't notice. Alex, man. Getting these guys done so we don't look like plebs while they're on the table. We'll have to stream a Dark Souls game when we get good enough and we come up with a format. There we go. There's one silver, one lead belcher, 2 lead belcher. Colors done. Now it's time for the third one. Again, this is the most boring part. Alright, put these back here. How's the camera quality on this, Alex? Like, can you guys see pretty well? Like, can you guys see where I'm hitting the brush strokes and stuff? I'm debating whether or not I need to return this camera and go for something even better, but I think this one's pretty good, actually. Dude, I'm sorry I didn't really get into Apex. I just had a lot going on. There was people coming over my house and whatnot. I really want to play some more Star Citizen because they just came out with a new patch. And dude. Dan, have you played the new digital version of Underworlds yet? Did you get into the beta? I missed the beta. Well, unfortunately, I adjusted the focus quite a bit, and it was really difficult to get it better. Yeah, the Underworld's beta. I tried to get in. I was doing all these contests and whatnot. They were really stingy about it. Yeah. I would have loved to stream some of that. That game is super fun. Like, the beta was super restrictive, and it actually made the skeletons were actually really good, and people just didn't know how to play them. I was helping some dude stream and play, and he was talking about how crappy the skellies were, and I was helping him out, and we were winning game after game with them. I just don't think, I don't know, a lot of people really just don't know how to play that game. It's super fun. Yeah, man. Once it's out in digital form, I'll play it every day. I already play Magic Arena every day. And I hate myself every time I play it. Yeah, Beastgrave is definitely the best expansion they released yet. Except for, I gotta say, I really don't like the Flesh Eater Quartz faction. I think they're a little too good, but I think that all the other factions are just super fun. I love the elf faction that I painted. Skakes something or other. I don't remember. The Hunters. I do. I actually beat a cat oven player the other day. I made him concede because I force exiled all of his ovens, all 4 of his ovens, and it felt so good. You just got to get this guy silver. Come on, hit every part of him. Boop, 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 boop. Get it all in there. Well, everything but the cape and the little leather. I don't know what you would call it. There we go. I don't want to hear any of those cat oven players talk about my decks. All right. What are your thoughts on LVO, Dan? You like? I think Bone Reapers players. I think the Bone Reapers should have done better in a pre-Zinch format. Something happened. I think those guys goofed because that army is insane. Or the missions were set up in such a way that OBR was just not as good as it could have been. Right now, what are we watching? Fire Slayers versus Slaanesh. Weird. I don't know who's going to win this because both of these are like pretty evenly matched. Yeah, they exist. I just think that a lot of armies really don't have any solid options against them. Like, I was really surprised to hear that Daughters of Cain beat out Ossiarch Bone Reapers in the semifinals. Right, exactly. It creates a unfun story when you bring them to the table. That's the best way, I think, to put it. A predictable story. And that's something you do not want in dice rolling games because it's those little butt clenching moments that make them fun. Same with Dark Souls. It's those moments where if you don't make that roll, you're dead, that make the games fun. In fact, the only time I've ever beaten Bone Reapers is when I pull off some really cheeky play with Summoning and Scar Bloodwrath to score objectives that statistically I probably wouldn't have been able to score unless I was really, really lucky. Yes, they can, but I think Seraphon is another problem army. They are not fun to play against. They're not overpowered. Don't misunderstand me. I don't think that they're overpowered. I just think that Seraphon, with all their summoning and all their tricks, there's so many things you have to think about. And players who play them are very talented when they are playing them successfully. Anyway, there's so many things you have to think about, so many things you have to do, and there's so many ways you can screw up that, yeah, it's, I don't know. And the little skinks, and it just doesn't. There's just something about Seraphon that doesn't strike me as fun to play against. But the players who play it are very talented. It's a very difficult army to field. I think Zinch has the same problem. I would like to play Zinch if they fix the change host. From what I'm seeing, I think the change host is a little bit too nasty. You know, it's hard for me to say because I looked at the change host, and because that's the one everyone's complaining about, right? And I haven't had enough time to like review the whole book because I've been doing all sorts of other things in my life. I saw that, and well, you might be right. There might be other ways to abuse that army. I just wouldn't know what they are. Yeah. Oh, okay. Flamers. Yes, flamers are super good. Me and Konstantinos were talking about flamers because he was playtesting against them, and I mean they are super powerful. They're very good, but I don't know if GW will react to a unit that's not being abused yet. But yeah, flamers are really, really powerful. Oh yeah? You're an abuser. You're a bully. What happened to playing skill intensive lists like you've played in the past? Have you given up? Pretty good. There we go. All silver. Whoopee. Alright, so we've got 3 silver knights. They're not finished, not even close. I like the bone splitters. I think they're really good. You running that rogue idol? Let's see. Let's see. Alright, now I'm going to hit him with some Null and Oil. I'm going to add some shades. Yeah, I think he's so good. This is the last one I did, so I'm going to let him dry. I'm going to let the paint cure nice and dry. But now I'm going to hit these with Null and Oil. I'm going to be pretty liberal with this because I'm going to hit it with a Stormhold Silver to bring out the additional silver coloring. Yeah, dude, it's insane. Its saves are bonkers too, doesn't it? Have like a bunch of word saves against everything. Very nice. Yeah, that's really good. Especially it doesn't have like 20 wounds. Yeah. Feels like 20 though when you fight it. Probably don't need to hit this part with wash, these top edges and stuff, but I'm just going to do it. Alright, sweet. So we get all those nice details in there. That looks pretty good. Well, score is even in the LVO. Slanesh and Fire Slayers are 9-9. I think Fire Slayers have a great chance against Slanesh. They are a very resilient army. And Slanesh is all about that melee glass cannon style. Make you attack last combat. I'm thinking Fire Slayers take this one, but we'll see. There we go, nice. Get it all in, get all those crevices coated with that Nuln oil. Nice even coat. All the chainmail down here. This area in here. Good deal. Alright, next we have these little pauldrons. I always take like one piece of the character that I'm painting at a time and hit it with the wash. That way I don't miss a part, because then your model just looks absolutely stupid. And then this stuff in here, I'm leaving under his arm blank. No one's ever gonna look at it. Remember, you're always looking down at the table at this angle. And if someone's picking up your model and, hey, look at that one little speck you didn't paint. It's a board game, dude. Just relax. Nah, significantly harder. We are facing Ornstein and Smo. But since it's the campaign, we have an infinite number of lives, so we will eventually win. Slayers conceded? What? How'd they lose? They just couldn't get to an objective? They conceded on turn 3? That's lame. I'm not listening to it because the sound kept crackling, so I had no idea they'd conceded. I just thought they were still playing. Well, anybody who's complaining about Slanesh being too weak post-nerf is upset right now. Here is the link. We are watching Twitch TV, Frontline Gaming's live coverage of the LVO. And I was going to put it on the channel and talk and paint all at the same time. However, their microphones on Twitch were crackling so much, it was hurting my ears, and I didn't want to subject anyone to that. Alright, looks like we've got his head, we've got his armor, we've got his spear. I think we just have his legs. So they hit the inside of these legs here. I'm still blown away by how clear this camera is. Like, It is so hard to visibly see what someone is painting live on camera. You have to have such good detail. And I'm watching the camera live, and I can just see everything I'm doing. It's just blowing my mind how good this camera is. I'll take a picture of my rig, and when it uploads to Google, I will show you what it looks like. It's wild. So just this left leg left. Put some more Nuln oil on my wet palette. If any of you are in here and you're wondering what I'm doing or what products I'm using to paint this stuff or what my paintbrushes are, Anthony, man, how are you? Just bought the starter set. What starter set did you buy? Also, I heard you met Rob at LVO. I think this is the same person. I heard you met Rob at LVO and that you said hi to him. Alright, I think that's it. There's 2 starter sets though, Anthony. I need to know which one you bought. Did you buy the original or did you buy the brand new Clone Wars starter set? Excellent. That is pretty good. I gotta change the color I'm using. It was a different Anthony then. Darn it, I gotta figure out who this guy's name was because it's killing me. Both. So right now I have Empire and I have Droids. I pretty much own everything for Empire. And I also own everything for Droids. I love Republic, and I play my friend's Republic army all the time. But I don't really care for Rebels. I don't really like their playstyle. Right now the thing with the Rebels is you want the Tauntauns. The Tauntauns are like the way to play that game with the Rebels. They're the hotness right now. The Tauntauns are they're like these little snow goats. They're like 2-legged snow goats that people ride. Anyway, so that's the hotness for Rebels. The big thing for Imperials are the Shore Troopers. The Shore Trooper gun lines with General Krennic, or I don't know what is Admiral Krennic. I don't know, but it's Krennic and his Shore Troopers, and maybe some Death Troopers, but mostly it's these like big gunline armies that manipulate suppression, and that's where the Imperials shine. I like playing the Republic. The Republic is all about like elite units, so you need a lot of the Phase 1 clone troopers. And Commander Cody's great. I think it's Cody. Or no, Rex. Rex is really good. And even Obi-Wan is actually quite good. I think you want both. But that whole army is just super resilient, and it makes them fun. But they have a limited number of units. But anyway, my favorite army to play is probably the droids, because I just love rolling dice, and droids are all about volume of and buckets of dice with lots of cheap guys. So I mean, pick your poison. I think all of the armies in Legion are great. The biggest problem with Star Wars Legion is that they don't release product fast enough. It just doesn't happen. They say they're gonna meet a deadline. A good example of this is the recent releases that were supposed to come out several months ago. They told us they were going to come out last week, and they've been delayed yet again until the 31st. I'm talking about the Trooper unit expansions for all 4 armies, along with a couple other units for the original factions, meaning the Operative Luke and Operative Vader expansions. But I think every single army is pretty fair and balanced. The only problem with the clones and the droids is that there's just not enough options in Star Wars Legion. They really need to get with the program and start releasing more units, because it's if anything will kill that game, and it's an excellent game, it's the lack of product releases, or timely product releases rather. And I want that game to succeed so bad, because it is such a great game. So what faction are you leaning towards? I guess that would be the other question I would need to know before recommending you buy anything in particular. All right, good deal. So he's just about there. So for droids, you definitely want Count Dooku. Count Dooku is a beast. Then you want to max out your droids, and just having the starter set, you've got enough droidecas. Especially if you've bought 2 boxes, you will very rarely want to run more than 1 unit of droidecas, or more than 2 rather. Simply because you need the bodies, and they're kind of expensive. Alex, if you go to Zombie Planet in Albany, we play every single week. Also, the games are about as long as Age of Sigmar. And the reason the games of Age of Sigmar and Legion take about the same amount of time, despite Legion having so few models, is that Legion, in Legion, there are more steps to each turn, because each player goes back and forth individually activating units, and less units get removed per turn. So the game, the individual turns, while they are shorter than the first combat round in Age of Sigmar, they stay about the same length. They only shorten just a little bit throughout the course of the game. Because, like you said, it's a lot harder to kill things in Legion. In Legion, you can hide. There's not a lot of cheeky, aggressive strategies the same way there are in Age of Sigmar. But despite saying that, I love Age of Sigmar. I think Age of Sigmar is an awesome game, and I highly recommend that as well, especially if you enjoy painting miniatures. And Alex, depending on what faction you want to play, I mean, I can always just lend you models if you just want to try it out live. What I love about Star Wars Legion is anytime you play, the games are just super close. Also, I made a deal with Ross, Alex, where Ross he can't paint his models. And he just bought the Star Wars models for me. And I told him I would hang on to them, and whenever he wanted to play, I would just have them all painted, and he could just play them, that I would just own them. So he's buying them for me, and I'm going to paint them. So that's what we're doing for the droids. If you want to play the dark side, dude, I own I own every single unit. You can always play the dark side. And I think the only ones I haven't painted up yet are the tanks and the shore troopers. I gotta paint up the shore troopers. I painted up 4 units of death troopers. I wanted to kill someone. That's the worst unit I've ever had to paint. Oh, I don't own Galactic Republic, but you could certainly buy that. I would have no problem painting those. Or if you wanted to paint them. I mean, I'm always painting. So here we are. Get this pauldron in there. This pauldron painted. My favorite thing about Star Wars Legion is the terrain community. It is the coolest thing about that game. I have never played a game where the terrain community was so active. You used the Republic on the tabletop with Obi-Wan? Or did you use the oh, you want the Imperial Royal Guard? Unfortunately, the Imperial Royal Guards are not as good as you would like. But they are great with Palpatine. Like, 1 unit of them is great, but like they cannot guard each other. So it makes them not as good as I would like, although they are very cool looking. And I do have 2 full units of them painted, and they never get used. And it's sad. Alright, that looks pretty good. I wish they were better. Unfortunately, units that can guard cannot guard other units with guard, and that's the problem. I'll force them. Well, the fun thing about Legion is that even when you force units, we're a pain to build. The clones are not bad to build. It's the droids that are the worst. The droids are like putting bloodletters together. I did put 70 bloodletters together, so what's 24 more, really, right? Yeah, clones are very easy to build. They are press fit. The droids being the PVA plastic, which you would think would be like the best thing ever for Star Wars because it's much better detail. The individual pieces are so small and like unreasonably separated on the sprue, and everyone complains about them. They're pretty bad. I've yet to put them together, but I looked at the sprues and I thought, Tell me what you want. Alright, yeah, we'll do that. Let me finish up this Dark Souls stuff, and once I'm done doing the droids, I'll start doing that. We had 10 people at Zombie Planet playing Star Wars Legion on a Thursday night. It was insane. I've never seen so many people excited about a miniature game, other than a GW miniature game, on a Thursday night. It's bizarre, but I'm happy. Yeah, droids are next on my plate. I've got my buddy Ross doing all the textured bases for them now. I love the concept too because it makes building armies actually quite easy. I'm not a fan of the way they do it in 40K. I think it's way too many guys. Yeah, it's weird. You know what's weird about that is over here in upstate New York, Age of Sigmar is pretty much dead, but I love it. And I don't understand it. Everywhere else it's like thriving. But Star Wars Legion exploded. Like everyone plays that. I think Emma plays Star Wars Legion. The other thing about Star Wars is a lot of people just bought it and they're not a part of the miniature gaming community. They're just Star Wars fans that wanted Star Wars toys. So it's a weird game because there are people all over buying these toys and collecting them and like not really playing the game. I know that's a thing in Warhammer as well. I mean, there's people who obviously just buy to collect and paint, but I don't think it's to the same degree as Star Wars toys. Warhammer is much more a community than Star Wars Legion is. It's weird. I thought you guys lived closer. My bad. Alright, so Nuln Oil is done. We've got 4 knights. The first one that we painted should be dry at this point. We've got some nice details showing up. Now I can do the cloak. Waiting for X-Men. There's like a new X-Men miniatures game? I can't imagine that's wildly popular. X-Men doesn't strike me as like the most popular Marvel franchise either. It's like typically when you think Marvel, you're thinking of the Avengers because X-Men was owned by Fox, which I know now is owned by Disney, but Disney really took the Avengers and made it super popular. I feel like X-Men took a back seat to a certain extent, especially after Rise of the Phoenix, which did terrible in theaters, and then X-Men Apocalypse, which was just an awful movie. So boring. So I'm swapping to a warm gray 4. X-Men the miniature game, right? I didn't even know that was going to be a thing. And this is by... Oh. Is that popular? I did not think that did that well. That died up here. People just buy it to collect the miniatures. That's it. Because they really like the Marvel Universe after the movies came out. And obviously some were always fans, but you know how it goes. We're just doing a warm gray 4 glaze here for those of you that are paying attention to the painting. Damn, dude. Is it a fun game? Because I might even like pick up discount aftermarket minis if it is. I love Venom too. He's like him and Carnage are like the '90s villains. That's sweet. See, one of the problems I think I have with that game is I can't imagine how they could capture, or at least properly capture, the lore of Marvel in a board game without making certain characters grossly overpowered. Like they can't put Thanos into a miniatures game. It wouldn't make any sense. He's too powerful, or Galactus, or you get the point. I think Spider-Man makes a great board game miniature. I think Venom's great. I think Carnage is great. But then you get into like the borderline gods of the Marvel universe, like the Hulk or Thor, and it's like okay, or Captain Marvel. Yeah, but I don't think like Spider-Man's not grossly overpowered, and the villains aren't. No, not all of them. Like Spider-Man's whole appeal is that he's flawed. It's all his character's flaws that make him great. And he's like overcoming the odds. Wow. So I'm hitting that with a gray. I'm really trying to make it like his cape in the picture. I'm going to add some washes and things like that to dirty it up on the bottom. But for now, that's really what I'm looking for. Put that one aside. Yeah, you can come back, Anthony. I'll probably be on for another hour, hour and a half tops. Right. That makes sense. I mean, that would be kind of that's fitting. He has his webs, but the Bob Ross. I don't know if I'm quite a Bob Ross. And I definitely have the happy little mistake attitude when it comes to miniature painting. A lot of times you make mistakes and you're just like, it's a feature. Again, we're just hitting this with a warm gray 4. Next. There we go. Personal touch. Yeah. It's just a personal touch. Those little mistakes. I mean, eventually, you got to learn not to care that things are perfect and that like things in real life aren't perfect anyway. So when you make a mistake, a lot of times you're just like, whatever. I mean, you can see I don't paint very carefully either. I just get it done. I mean, it's a little bit of muscle memory, but just put the paint on there. If you don't put it on there, then it's never going to get finished. And then you're never going to have painted minis. This is actually a little too wet. I probably shouldn't be painting this right now because I think the wash is still drying. But whatever, it's not gonna. You're not gonna notice that I hit the wash a little bit. We're not competition. We're not competition painting here. We're just trying to get these done so we can put them on the table and feel good when they kill us. Yes, and dodge and roll all the attacks. Yeah, that's right. Alright, so we have our 1, 2, and 3 dudes. Now, we're gonna jump to Black Templar. This is a contrast paint. My favorite. I love Black Templar. Let me alter my current color. Black Templar contrast Citadel. Done. Kind of rolling off the screen there. Boop, done. Alright. So I'm going to use this more like a glaze than the way GW instructs you to use contrast paint. I'm also going to use it to like make pick out certain points on the model to create some more contrast between different layers of silver, because the whole model is just so monochromatic that if I don't do that, it's going to look real stupid. Make sure you shake up your contrast paint before using it. Dump it all over your table every time. Contrast paints are cheap. Alright, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get pretty liberal with the... Oh, dang it. There you go. Happy little mistake right there. We're going to get pretty liberal between the arms and the shoulder and the elbow pads, because I mistakenly painted those silver and I just want to make them look like black leather. So not very noticeable. I don't think it's going to be a big deal, but I'm going to need to use extra contrast paint. This time I'm not using them like a glaze. I'm just slapping it on there. Slapping it. There we go. Nice. Then this arm here, I'm going to get this little crevice between. Just going to hit it right there. And go in right there. Good deal. Just like that. Alright, and then I gotta get these areas right here behind the knees. Good deal. Getting at this part under here, I don't even worry about it. If you're looking under there, I don't know why you're looking under there if you're playing this game. If you're looking under there and you're playing this game, you're playing it wrong. So we're not painting the part under here. In fact, I should just paint I should paint like a message that says "Stop it." Stop looking under here. So there we go. We use the Black Templar on this guy. Next, Get some more on our brush. We don't have to be as liberal here because I didn't paint this part silver this time. Right here. And then, of course, this little crack in here. Perfection. There we got his knees. And then we got the insides of his legs. Cool deal. Next. Don't look under there, Alex. Whenever we play, if you look under there, you lose 1 HP. Every single time. Again, we've got this part that's supposed to be black, but I painted some of it silver, so we're going to get pretty liberal with the black contrast paint. Alright, sweet. They're already looking pretty good. We've got our almost ready knights. I gotta get a thinner brush and I can do the next part. Wipe this one off. Always rinse these things out real good. Let's see. Here's a nice cruddy thin brush. This is fine. I just need something thin because I want to take the contrast black and I'm just going to go like this on one side and then I'm going to go like this. And it's going to make this stand out more. Because at the moment, it's not quite dark enough. Like, sweet. That looks good. Then I'm going to go in between these. Wipe it off a little bit. I just want to get these a little darker than they already are. And contrast paint it's almost like a double dose of null and oil wash. Makes it really easy to just like really get those details you want darker. So you can notice the difference. One guy has a slightly darker shield than the other. Alright, but I'm going to go ahead and do that for a lot of things. So these ridges wore up all underneath. And it's just going to give a little bit more contrast to each one of those ridges. This little area underneath his pauldron, that's pretty good. I think that is exactly what I'm looking for. This area underneath his, I don't know what this is, this little piece of armor. I want it right there. Right in the chainmail. I need it to be darker. I want this piece of armor to stand out. Then I want to put some lines right here. That was too much. Oh well, wipe it off. Contrast paint is easy to wipe off. Here and here. Nice. Now I feel really good. Bring out the detail. Cool. One line down the side. These are the guys that stab you at range 1 with AoE, yeah. Nice. Put a little, this eye looks like it missed some wash, so I'm going to put some contrast paint in the eye. And I'll put some contrast paint in this eye, make it a little darker. And what the heck, we'll put some in his mouth. There we go. That'll make his face stand out more. Good deal. Put some underneath the arm, put some down here, add some more where the folds are. Give it a little nice bonus contrast. Put some right down below these knees. Looking pretty good right here. Put some here. All right. I really like that. I'll do around his neck right in here. Give it some separation. Right in there. These lines here, more separation. Right in here. That's pretty good. I like that. We gotta separate the cloak too from. So let's add some lines over here. There we go. Nice and separated. In fact, let's make it a little darker up top. That's pretty good. Sure. More. Yeah, I want that cape a little darker. I feel like I'm ruining it. Yeah, I'm definitely doing damage. Alright, that looks good. Alright, I'll just do this. Oh, I forgot his spear. So I like to take this stuff and go around the bottom edge of all these to give separation. That's pretty good. Then down here. And now you have like much more defined areas of separation on one model versus the other. And I don't know, I just think it looks better. I like seeing all the little details on my minis. Give it some little right there. Give it a little touch there, there, right down there. There we go. Cool. Oh, I forgot to do near his hand. So this like all it looks like it's all one color, so we had a lot of separation in between his hand and the shaft of the spear. Cool. All right, I'm happy with that. Now we'll move to the next one. We'll just keep doing that. This time we'll do it faster because we know what we're looking for. And do the spear first. Up, up. Good deal. Cool. That's done. Right here. And right here. And right here. There we go. Nice little dark cloak. I don't know. At the back of his neck. Right here. Right here. Put some in here. Yeah, a little too much there. Oh well. Whatever, it'll look fine. do the sides of his knees too. Alright, that guy was done a lot quicker. I think I just gotta do the shield. And now that looks pretty good. Got two. And now for the final boyo. And then we can start doing some dry brushing. Really crank up the silver. Because these are silver nights after all. There we go. This guy's already got enough wash on him for certain spots to be decent enough as it is. Get the bottom there. Now just a painting mat. Dude, I got the Kickstarter, by the way. I got the new Kickstarter. Did you see it? The foil version came out. They made an all foil Star Realms Kickstarter. Check it out. It's a 6-player version of the game, all foil, with playmat. Yeah, Star Realms. So as soon as I get it, I'm going to have you, I'm going to have Molly, Chris, everybody. We're just going to play. It's going to be insane. Of course. We will have 6-player madness. Paint this inside area again. Alright, make sure all the eyes are dark before we move on. And they are. We have 4 Silver Knights that look damn near identical. But they look great. We are going to move on to the dry brushing phase and then follow that up with... Oh yeah, it's every expansion for Star Realms. I'll post a link in chat, actually. Boom. The greatest board game ever made. Comes with a super duper playmat. And every card is a foil artwork card. And it has a box with dividers and everything. I would buy the sleeves, but I already own all the sleeves, so I'm not worried about it. Alright, anyway, now we're going to go into making these things look even, like, shiny. They're going to be shiny now. Yeah, dude, I'm totally stoked. I cannot wait for... Yeah, they are better, but the official Star Realms sleeves say the word Star Realms. I mean, that's a big deal. But yeah, the KMCs are better. Alright, so we're moving to Storm Host Silva. It's a Citadel paint. I don't recommend this paint. I recommend the series, the Vallejo Air series for silver. These paints are not that great, but they're what we have. So I'm going to use them because I don't own the Series 7 paints yet. I need to go buy them. But I don't want to waste the paint I already have, so that's why I'm using it. So I'm just going to start dry brushing, and I'm specifically... Oh my god, I painted my cut with it. I'm going to specifically dry brush downward, and I am not going to go up. And it's going to be a nice even coat, and you should see I don't know if you can see it on camera, but there's a huge difference in person. One is clearly more silver than the other. Let's see if I can get that brightness up so you can see it on camera. Yeah, dude, because it's like the greatest game ever made. Or one of the greatest games ever made. Of course they raised 500,000. You can definitely see the shininess by comparison. So that's what we're going for with this. We're going for a much shinier shield. Make sure that if you're going to do this, make sure that like it's really, really fine and that you just go down. And if you do it enough times, you'll start to see the silver come out. Right, already looking great. You can already see a huge get off. You can already see a huge difference between these two models on camera. And there's a huge difference in real life. One looks like a silver knight and one looks like a lead knight. When did I get it? I don't own it yet. That Kickstarter just started like I don't know, not even a week ago. I saw it on Facebook and I was like, done, bought. That game's amazing. I'm gonna sell my full on collection and just have that one because that one's the best. I might donate my collection to like a public school or something. I don't know. Kids need to play more board games. Just be careful when you're dry brushing this to not hit your cape because your cape is not silver. You don't have to dry brush the insides of the legs either. There's some mold lines on the sides of the legs. Just dry brush right over them. And try to really get the sides of the legs should just be completely Stormhost silver just about. So just go right over that mold line. Yeah, it looks sweet. Alright, now time to hit this spear. I'm going to ignore my advice, dry brushing downward. I'm just going to hit the whole spear in the center between these marks. I want the tip of this spear to be like pure silver. And it's going to look like that compared to that. Alright, and then I'm going to get the other side. And I want the whole tip to be silver. Nice. I think this guy's looking like he's close to done. He just needs a touch up on his cape. Give it some highlights. Booyah. Oh, I don't know when I get it. I don't know when the Kickstarter ships them out. I imagine this Kickstarter will, I imagine it's not going to take long for them to make this happen. just because the game's already been developed. They just have to send the board game to a printing company and have it ship it out. Alright, sweet. So there's our nice silver shield. Top's basically going to be pure silver. These sides, leave them lead. Yeah, so not as bad as the original Kickstarter, but it's going to be a little while before I get them. How long have I been streaming? Alright, well, that's the body. Oh, I didn't do... I got that one. Gotta get this guy a little bit. Gotta get his... So there's elbow pads. Perfection. Alright, I think that's pretty good. Now we're just gonna do the other side. Here we go. Number 2. Final one. Then we just have to do the cloaks and paint the bases black. Nice. That looks really good. I am running out of Stormhost Silver. Alright, I'll put some more Stormhost Silver on my palette. Again, we're using this color. And we are just dry brushing down. Not in multiple directions. Just down. And anything we wouldn't hit while dry brushing down, we are effectively ignoring. Except for the spear. The spear we are actually just painting. We're painting everything up to each little area of contrast because we want to show all these different parts of the shaft. And then on the blade itself, we're just going crazy because it's a very silver spear in the game. And at the tip, we are just going nuts. Top is going to be pure silver. We want it to look nice and sharp and pointy. Now to do the other side. Alright, nice and consistent. And again, make sure the tip is pure silver. Alright, our silver is done. Onto the cloak, for which I will use Warm Gray 3 to start, and then I'm going to follow up with Warm Gray 1 on very specific areas, and then I'm going to dirty it up with some, what the heck is it called? Probably just Airgrex or a shade. So this is just a tad bit brighter than the color we used previously. And I'm just going to hit the raised areas just ever so slightly. So there we go. We've got a nice, differently, I don't know, it's a nice gradient. Next, it's not that hard to paint cloth. You just kind of put subtle tones in, work your way up to a brighter tone. That's what I do anyway. Especially with a pre-shade with the zenithal highlight that I've started with. So I'm using watercolors because the paint's very translucent and it's going to create a nice blending effect. I don't even have to try hard. These watercolor paints are just excellent for transitions. And the final dude. Nice transition there. Alright, and finally we're going to use warm gray level 2. Actually, we're just going to skip right to 1. 1 is a very bright color. It's near white, so I'm going to water it down a little bit so it's more of a glaze. Let me alter the name here. Gray 1. And for this one, I'm just going to do the very edges. Going to be very subtle. Just like that. And on the top, let's do it up here too. Bam. Boom. Let's try that again. Perfect. Good deal. That looks nice. And then finally, I mean, you can see the difference. It's very subtle, but it actually makes a huge difference in real life. Yeah, man. I'll send you a message. Ah, there we go. That's good enough. All right, let's dirty these things up, and then we will paint the bases black, and it'll be done. I'm going to use Agrax Earthshade. I barely have any left. It'll be enough for our purposes. Because these guys have been in the shit. So we're going to give them a nice dirty look to their cloaks. And this part, you just kind of roll with it. It's kind of just up to you how dirty you want them to look. I think that's good enough. For one. Cool. I think he'll look nice when he's done. Put a little couple more drips. There we go. Again, we're just gonna paint down. These don't have to be uniform at all. Good enough for me. Just doing a quick glaze to make these look a little dirty. Cool, looks sweet. Done deal. Alright, I'm going to grab some black paint. I've been using the black 2.0 paint from, I gotta remember the name of the company, but I will be right back. And then I'll paint the bases and then we'll be done. Alright, I'm back. This is the black paint I'm using. It says non-toxic, but it's super toxic. You should not eat it. I don't know what the company's name is. I'm trying to find it on there. Wash brushes with water. This is very, very flat black matte. Super high pigment count. I'm gonna water this down like crazy. I've got it real thick on my brush, and you're gonna see that like it's just gonna turn this base. Whoa, and I gotta be very careful not to touch the model with this. Get one nice thin coat. Now I like to do basing on these models, but currently I'm just painting the bases black until I get to them. Because I have so many minis to paint that, to me, that's good enough. That looks really sweet, actually. Set that one aside. Alright, here we go again. You want it just runny enough so that it doesn't streak, but thick enough so that like you don't gotta do 2 coats. It's a thing. You just figure it out and you do it. The other model will dry, and then I'll show you what it looks like when it's dry. It looks so cool. The other reason I like doing black for these models is because in the game, the inventory items are all black little plaques that the items are sitting on. All right, folks. Let's see if I can show you what these look like. Turn on autofocus. Figure video. Autofocus is on. Apply. All right, there's our models. We are officially done. I'll post some pictures on Facebook in the Dark Souls the board game group. If you were watching, thank you for watching. If you're going to watch later, cool. Hope you got something out of this video. Oh god, that is so blurry. I gotta put some things behind this so that way the camera is autofocused, focuses on the right thing. Let's see if we can get it to focus on the right thing. Come on. There it goes. There are our Silver Knights. See you around.